Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome for a little unexpected Q&A, which I haven't done for a while, but I thought it would be nice just to check in with you guys and have a little more interactive session rather than the usual recorded videos, which I'm really trying to stick with 2 a week, which does take a bit of time for planning, editing and uploading, but I'll continue focusing on that in addition to a couple of shorts here and there. But I do think this live, even though not many people are watching, as it's still a rather small channel, but I think it's always fun to have a bit more interaction. So I prepared a couple of questions that I got from you from various videos, as well as posted on Instagram, where I'm not that active, but still some of you are asking me questions there, so I included some of those here. But please, if you're watching, also pop them in the comments below, and I'll try to answer them at the end of the questions that I got already. Right, so let's dive right in with the first couple. So there was, are you still buying stocks or crypto? So that's a good question. I mean, I guess same for you. When you look at the markets the last few months, it's really been boring. I mean, there's so much news out there, so many things happening, but the markets are just kind of moving sideways or downwards actually. More recently, in fact, today Google had one of their worst days since many years, because they missed the earnings by quite a bit, because obviously they're also feeling the impact of the looming recession. So things are not looking pretty promising. So personally right now, I'm not really buying anything. I'm really accumulating cash to sit on it, to have the opportunity to later on down the line, once things get even worse, which I think they will, capitalize on some investments and hopefully get an even better price on obviously Bitcoin, which I'm still a very much bullish believer in the long term, as well as some stocks that I really like and would like to buy more of, as well as ETFs, of course, which is the S&P 500, which is the main ETF that I buy. On top of this, I'm trying to save up for a down payment for a house, to buy more real estate, because looking at the real estate appreciation over the last few years, I think right now it's actually at the peak in many countries. Still, as a long-term investment, I think real estate always should have a place in any serious investor's portfolio for sure. So yeah, at the moment I'm taking it easy, but I do know that comes the right time, I will definitely keep on buying and accumulating more stocks and crypto. How can I earn more? The million-dollar question. Let me show you my ebook, which you can buy in the description below. No, I'm joking, guys. I mean, this is obviously a good question, and it really depends, on what situation you're in. Are you employed? Are you having your own business? But at the end of the day, I always believe it comes down to how much value do you provide? And now there's the trend recently going around of quiet quitting, right? Where basically people work the minimum to have more time for themselves, etc. And again, that's a personal choice. I will not judge it, even though personally I think it's probably the wrong approach, because if you want to do better than others and want more out of life, I think you need to give more in order to get more, right? It's this yin and yang principle. The more you put in, the more you get out. Like life is like a bank account, like an ATM. The more you put in, the more you take out. So I do believe having a side hustle in addition to your job, where you try to still succeed and excel, that doesn't mean you have to sleep there 12, 13, 14 hours every single day. You can, work the hours you're contracted and paid for, but do the best you can in those hours. But all of us, when we come home, we have hours in the evening. I mean, myself, today I worked 9 hours in my main job, and now in the evening I was editing another video, now I'm doing a live stream, and later on I'm working on my website. So, we all have time if we want to make the time available, and always it comes down to how much do you want it. So I strongly believe in providing more than people also pay you. If you're a freelancer, they pay you a certain amount. If you consistently excel and exceed expectations, people start referring you. They will start talking about you. So, try to shine and do the very best you can. And over time, I think good things will happen. And naturally, the money will be a consequence. The more successful you are, the more people talk about you, the more, as an influencer cloud you have, followers you have, naturally the money will follow. But don't have it as your prime motivation, because then I think you're in that loop of chasing the money rather than chasing growth and getting better, and the money will follow eventually. Next up, should I buy real estate? Well, to be really honest, I think at some stage in your life you probably should, because you know, when you really see the last 20, 40, 50, 100 years performance of real estate, it really outperforms many other asset classes. Now, obviously, it depends which country you're in, it depends what is your starting capital on many factors, but I can answer for myself, who has already bought real estate and want to continue to do so, because it is a good hedge, especially in difficult times like we're in right now, right? When all the markets are tanking, real estate is doing still extremely well. Now, they might reset a little bit, but in most capitals, it's highly unlikely that it will correct by 20, 30, 40%. It may happen, but again, in the grand scheme of things, it hasn't really happened, especially in great locations. So I do think real estate should be, if you have the means to do so in everyone's portfolio. But at the same time, I also understand people who prefer to rent due to lifestyle, choices, because they don't want to be, stuck in one place. They want to move around every few months, and that's totally fine, right? Then you can invest in other things. So it's not necessarily that you need to have it, but if you ask me, is it a good investment? I would say absolutely, if you have the right financing in place and location, of course. Right, how to stay positive in such times. Ward, thank you very much for your questions. I'll get back to you in a second. I'm just going to run through a couple of them here, and then I'll get back to you in a sec. How to stay positive in such times? Yeah, that's a tough question. I do think it's, your environment sort of shapes you, right? And it starts by, what are you consuming? Do you wake up reading, the first thing you read are all the news, and usually news are not positive news. They are normally negative news, especially right now. There is, negative headline after negative headline, and that's what gets the click. So if you start your day, fueled by negativity, obviously it's hard to have a positive mindset, because you see, oh my God, inflation, war, all these things are happening, markets are tanking, I better sell all my things and run. And that's kind of this, self-fulfilling prophecy of negativity spiral. So I think, obviously we can't be oblivious to what's happening in the world, and you need to keep an eye on what's happening, and that's, obviously reality, but at the same time minimize it. For myself, I try to, at lunchtime, once a day, at most twice a day, check in with the news, with the markets and what's happening to get an idea, but then rather focus on, I love listening to podcasts where people interview successful investors or entrepreneurs or CEOs, where I can learn something out of it, another attack somewhere that happened, as bad as it is. It's not much I can do right now. I can express my sympathy, I can, send money and donate, which, I've done and I continue to do so, and I think that's important. But at the same time, that information doesn't really change my life. More importantly, learning from leaders how to come, persevere through difficult times. I think these are really good learnings that you can apply for your own life and stay positive in the process. So that's what I'm trying to do. And lastly, I really believe in keeping a positive mindset. You need to have a positive body and a positive physical set, so to say. So exercising, trying to move, that really helps me. I mean, after going for a 10-kilometer run, you really can't be grumpy. You have to be in a good mood, because it releases endorphins. So that puts you automatically in a better mood. And then you're more likely to, again, work on your projects and working on your goals, rather than, going down the negative rabbit hole. How do you budget? Well, obviously, I think it's important to first start with what's your monthly income, and based on your income, you should, commit to a certain percentage that you want to put aside. And most people, they spend first, and at the end of the month, they will then evaluate how much they have left to save. And that's the danger, because often you then say, 2 more days to go, I've been working very hard this month, let's buy these shoes, or let's go on this little trip. And then over time, you don't really have money left that you can put aside. And that's the real danger. So I try to, at the beginning of the month, put that money aside. As I said, right now, I'm not actually actively investing, but I put it into another bank account where I don't touch it. And that starts accumulating that money over there that later on I can use for various purposes. And I think that's super important. At the same time, you should track your expenses. And that's still what's puzzling me when people pay with cash. I mean, I do get the appeal for some people to pay in cash, even though personally I really hate carrying cash on me. And by paying with my Curve card and the different cards that I have included, so basically I have one central card in an app which is called Curve card, and there I have 3-4 different debit and credit cards, and irrespective of which one I use, all of them are basically coming down to the curve card, and that has an inbuilt analytics. So at the end of the month, I can easily open my Curve app and see, how much I spend. It even categorizes it automatically. So I can see how much I spend on groceries, how much on transportation, and other things. And then I can, I still write that into my Google Sheet master sheet, which tracks all my investments and expenses, and I can see how I'm progressing over time. And that's really good to see, so that I'm basically staying on track and committed to my percentage of the money that I wanted to save, and make sure that over time I'm building my net worth and my saving rate. Which tool to build my website? Well, there's obviously so many tools out there, great tools. But if you're a beginner, depending on your level, I recently started working on my website, and what I realized, I sometimes get overwhelmed with all these website builders. There's Wix, there's Squarespace, there's many others, and they're great tools, but sometimes they're a bit overwhelming. So I actually started working with Canva. Canva has a website builder now. They just recently came out with it. And in there, it's very simple, drag and drop, and you visualize your website. And that sometimes takes this block away from getting started. And you just start putting the structure in place. You kind of easily put the fonts, the colors that you want. And then once I had the website I wanted, you could even publish it to the web. You just buy a domain and publish it through Canva. But it's very limited at this stage. I think they will continue to iterate and grow in the future, but right now there's not much you can do in terms of SEO, Google ranking, analytics, etc. So now I'm actually in process of duplicating the Canva website into Squarespace. And again, you could use Squarespace, Wix, you could build it on WordPress if you want to do it yourself, but I think that's a bit more complicated. So I really like Squarespace, and having that sort of Canva base, it's easy for me to transfer it over there, replicate it, and then I can really launch it on Google and get better SEO, better ranking, analytics, run various promotions to this website. So yeah, I'm quite excited about that, and I'll keep you posted on the progress there. What's your dream life? Well, I think most of all, above all, is the health of myself and my family. I always say, if I'm not healthy, you can be the richest person in the world, you can have a 1,000% return on your stocks and investments. If you're not healthy, if you get cancer, God forbid, or something, what's it all worth for, right? So I think most important that we invest in our health, we stay positive and healthy. If I then have also some nice money that allows me to have flexibility, which is actually for me the biggest goal, freedom and flexibility. Sitting here today in beautiful Vilnius and saying tomorrow, listen, you know what, why don't we go for a month or so to work from Ibiza, or to go to Bali, what have you. And having that freedom and the flexibility of moving without asking anyone for permission, and at the same time having the financial needs to do so, and not having to be worried, I think that's really a dream life. Now, I don't need to have a yacht or fly first class around the world. I think these are nice little monetary things that if they do happen, great, but that doesn't really increase my happiness. But again, that freedom and flexibility and health, for me, that's priceless and something I'm striving towards. Wise or Revolut? Well, to be honest, I think both are great apps. They serve slightly different purposes. Obviously, the person asking, I suppose, was asking in terms of international money transfer. And I've done a video on Wise recently as well. So it really depends. During the weekend, Wise tends to be the better option, as they have a little bit better fees than Revolut. During the week, there isn't really much difference. It sometimes depends on which currency pairings you're choosing. One app has a better currency pairing for, I don't know, euro to pound, versus the other one has a better one from Chinese yuan to euro. So I always recommend have both apps, check both, especially if you have large amounts. If you're sending a couple of €100, to be fair, a 0.05% deviation in the grand scheme of things is not really that much money. But if you send really regularly or larger amounts, I personally also check and see where I get the better amount. Overall, I think Revolut is a more complete app because it has many more functionality than Wise. But for transfers, definitely I use both and make sure I get the best deal depending on the time of the week and which currencies I'm planning to send. Is P2P lending still worth it? Well, yeah, interesting question. As you know, I'm a big fan of Bondora, which I've been using, and I'm actually getting 6.5% interest per year paid to me daily. even though now they've changed that used to be called Bondora Go and Grow. Now since a couple of weeks, they kind of stopped the program. So people who were in the program, they can still get that reward paid to you. And that's only available for Euro currency holders. But now they call it Bondora Unlimited, which basically at the same time allows you to invest as much as you want, because right now I can only invest a maximum of 400 euros a month, which is quite limiting. If I wanted to do more, I would like to do more, but I can only do 400 a month. So if you want to go for unlimited, you could put however much you want, 5,000, 10,000, but the interest will be lower. It's only going to be 4% per year paid to you still daily, and you can also move out your money daily. However, I think given the interest increases we've seen in recent times, and I think they will continue to increase, even though the banks still haven't yet caught up. I mean, actually what we get on our cash sitting in the bank, we don't really get the higher interest yet, but I think they will catch up soon. So I think the risk to reward ratio is becoming less attractive. Back when the interest rate was 0 and I got 6.5%, I was like, wow, that's great. But now with the Euribor or the Fed, the interest rate in the US increasing, I think it becomes less attractive, because you still, don't forget, have quite a high risk of people, of creditors defaulting on their payments. So if they start all defaulting for various reasons, basically you're not going to get your money back, right? So there's obviously a risk for the reward you're getting, which is the interest. So I really hope that they start soon increasing the interest, because otherwise I think a lot of people will move their money, their funds elsewhere. Because imagine if you get 3% soon, hopefully in your bank, why would you have 1% more for significantly higher risk in a P2P exchange? So at the moment, I still leave my money, because with 6.5%, I still think it's attractive. But as the overall interest rates go up, and if they don't increase, I will definitely start moving some funds away from that. What are your hobbies? I really like to do sports, so usually I try to exercise every single day after work. I started doing CrossFit now, which is a good exercise. Before I used to go only to a gym, now I do CrossFit 2-3 times a week, and the other few times I go running. So I really enjoy running, just to clear my head, obviously, and again, get energy and positivity. On top of this, I'm a huge fan of F1, so I don't know if there's any F1 fans. Let me know in the comments. I'm watching even the training sessions, qualifying. I've been to a couple of races and would like to go soon to others. So yeah, I'm a big fan. So if you're too, let me know who's your favorite driver. And but yeah, that's definitely entertaining. And other than that, yeah, just I don't know, drinking nice coffee, watching YouTube, and traveling the world. So that's definitely some of my hobbies. Right, okay guys, so these are all the questions I got before. So now let's see what you guys wrote me. So starting with Ward, first time live stream for me. Unfortunately, I have to go in 10 minutes, but I'll tune in for the next live stream. Ward, thank you so much. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. I believe you must be from Norway, if I'm not mistaken, judging by the last name, or Holland, Netherlands, not sure. But anyway, thanks for dialing in, and appreciate your comments on the various videos, so much appreciated. Bitcoin and Ethereum amazing today, absolutely. I mean, yeah, really, I have like automated notifications after a certain percentage of 5% price move. So every time any of my investments goes up or down by more than 5%, I get notifications. And yeah, today I got a couple of those, so really good to see. But again, like the last few months, it's been really, little boost and up again, little boost, and it's kind of just moving sidelines. There's a little headline here and there, some movements, but I think in the grand scheme of things, we're still going to be trending sideways for quite a while until the overall markets recover, because right now it's hard for any of the cryptocurrencies to break out when the macroeconomic environment looks as dire and sad as it does. So I think we still have to get used to that for another couple of months. I do believe early summer next year it should look a little bit brighter. My main question though, what do you think of staking fiat Nexo? 12% on fiat is amazing, of course. That is correct. I mean, I also stake my fiat currency. I don't remember actually if it's 12%, to be honest. I'll have to double check that. But yeah, I have, usually what I do is I pay my Nexo card every month, every week, every Sunday I pay my Nexo card, so it doesn't accumulate too much debt, and I'll just pay it there. And as the transfer to Nexo sometimes takes a little bit long, I usually leave an excess amount of money sitting there. And yeah, the good thing is of having it in your Nexo account, it still accumulates daily interest, and you get daily staking rewards. So yeah, it could be 12% actually. I have to double check that, but in general, it's super, super attractive, and actually even way better than the P2P exchange, right? Of course, you technically still have the risk of Nexo going bust, same like some other crypto exchanges, Celsius, etc. We've seen that before. But I think they've weathered the storm quite nicely given those volatile times, and did actually quite well. So I'm not too bothered, but at the same time, I wouldn't probably park that 20,000 euros just sitting around accumulating nice staking rewards. While that would be attractive, for me right now, that would still be a little bit too high of a risk factor. But yeah, overall, really, really nice to see that. Next up, Lotto is the best investment, and no, I don't condone gambling. Okay, so Lotto, I guess, is the yeah, I guess you all know what is Lotto, the lucky number draw. So I'm not sure if that's a really investment, but I haven't actually never done that. I went to the casino once and played roulette. That was as much gambling as I remember. Even though I got lucky a few times, in the end I lost it all, and for me that was the learning lesson, not to gamble. I leave that to others. If I go there, is really knowing that I'm going to lose money. It's like you go to a restaurant, you spend the money for a good experience. So this is the same for me, when I go to casino. I haven't played Lotto, my grandparents did, but hopefully you made some good returns from it. Wo lebst du aktuell? Where am I living at the moment? Oh, well, I believe you're Korean. I'm not sure, I can't read the name, but you speak German, so well done. I'm actually living at the moment in Vilnius in Lithuania, which is a beautiful place. Not many people know about this, even though I'm originally from Germany, but now I've been living a couple of years already here, and it's a beautiful, beautiful city. It's part of the Baltics, even though we're quite close to the, where all the action is happening now at the moment. So in the beginning, we're a little bit worried of what's happening, but actually, it's part of EU and it's part of NATO, so we feel very protected. There's a strong presence of NATO here, and yeah, it's an amazing city, very small, cute, but at the same time big enough to have all the big brands, chains, hotels, restaurants, what have you. So yeah, and within an hour and a half, you're pretty much anywhere in Europe. So definitely recommend it to visit sometime. What's up? What's up, Kai? Thanks for mentioning me in the last video. Of course, man, you're always really appreciated with all your comments and support, so thanks very much. And I haven't forgotten about you to meet up when I'm back in Berlin. I just haven't managed to come by, and probably this Christmas neither. So hopefully soon we'll manage to catch up for the beer. And would be really, one of my dreams would be one day to have like a subscribers meetup. I mean, of course, you're not going to be hundreds of thousands of people, but even a couple of people just coming together, like-minded, talking about investing and so on, and yeah, it would be cool. So hopefully one day, once I see there's a certain number of subscribers from a certain city, I would definitely like to do this and just organize a couple of drinks there, get together, and catch up about investing, because actually there's not so many people you can talk about investing. It's still kind of this taboo topic, right? A lot of people say, no, I don't want to talk about money and so on. That's why so many people are financially illiterate, because they're shy to talk about it, and I think there's no reason. I mean, it doesn't, you don't have to reveal your whole portfolio in front of, all the public, but just talking about percentages. How do you invest? How do you see this? How do you understand the big picture? So yeah, always enjoy, linking up with like-minded people. So hopefully we'll get to that very soon. Should I drop out of uni? Well, I don't know where you live, what you study. It's a tough question. It's interesting because, we all, I can give you my own example. Back in the day, my dream was always to one day study in Harvard or Stanford, and I was like, wow, once you study there, you made it. And now it's really turning, and a lot of people are actually saying, oh my God, it's such a bad investing, right? Because you spend, I don't know, it costs apparently hundreds of thousands of dollars to study there, and afterwards a lot of the students, they pay back for years their student loans to get out of debt. And I always ask myself, what's the added value? I mean, yes, you have, I think the biggest impact of studying in such a university is the network, the alumni, because you're gonna really meet the who is who and future, CEOs and founders, etc. But I don't think you necessarily get way smarter than in other universities. I mean, you know, I studied in 2 different universities. One of them was like the best in their field, and the other one was kind of average. I mean, it was the same stuff we learned at the end of the day. Yes, here I met way more, you know, sharper, more connected people. That was great, but that's about it. So, you know, if that's what you're paying for, I think these days with social media, putting yourself out there, going to networking events, you can get to meet those people otherwise as well, right? And so I don't think you necessarily need an expensive degree. On the contrary, I always prefer practitioners to theoretic people. So I think getting out there, getting your hands dirty is so much more valuable than studying how to open a business, because in the end we all can study everything. It's how you execute. And so I think, you know, again, depending on what you study, I don't know, if you want to be a heart surgeon, then I strongly suggest you to study, because that's probably going to be hard to learn on YouTube. But if you want to start your own business or become a marketeer, then I really don't think necessarily you need a fancy degree from a university these days anymore. Thank you very much. Amazing quality as video. It's really interesting, you know, because once you do a recorded video, you can cut all the nice things, put a little bit of editing, and it looks so polished. And everybody thinks, including myself, when I watch other people, wow, they're so eloquent. They never, you know, make any mistakes. But trust me, guys, when we record these videos, I mean, you're gonna have so many retakes. You try to cut things out, and it's really, yeah, quite tough actually. So these live streams force you to really, you know, articulate yourself clearly by not, you know, getting hung up too often. So I force myself to do this more often to become a better presenter. But yeah, I'm definitely nervous doing these things, and it's not as easy of having the benefit of being able to edit it afterwards. So, but yeah, appreciate the comment there. Another question, how are the taxes there? I suppose here you mean in Lithuania. Quite good compared to many other parts in Europe. You know, it's around 15% VAT. Again, depends on various things. You know, 19% to 21%. So generally, compared to many other parts in Europe, we're much better. Of course, I lived before many years in Dubai, where you have 0 income tax, right? So in that way, you know, opening a company in Dubai is much more attractive, even though they started introducing VAT. So if it's for pure tax purposes, then probably, you know, Lithuania would not be so attractive. If you want to stay in Europe and have a company here, it definitely is. And it's, interestingly enough, when you start and open an account with many of the online brokers or crypto exchanges, a lot of them actually, when you transfer the money, have their base in Lithuania, in Vilnius particularly, like Revolut, Wise, Nexo, Crypto.com. A lot of them are based in Vilnius, because what happened after the Brexit, they obviously needed to find a European sort of counterpart, and Vilnius had Lithuania very favorable, you know, banking licenses, and so yeah, a lot of them started opening up their branches here. So that's, you know, really interesting. And I was actually thinking one day to make a video just going around and showing the various places, because often it's just sort of a mailbox hanging somewhere. It's not that they're physically here, but yeah, that's quite funny. You have my support because you're an honest and humble guy with great mindset and trying to make own wealth legal way. Thanks very much. Yeah, I mean, definitely I don't believe in promoting scams or, you know, get rich quick schemes, because there are so many out there, and obviously, you know, these are true scams, and you know, that's not something I believe in. That's the same with YouTube, right? It's such a slow progress, but I do believe slow progress over time. The same with investing, you know, over the long term, compound interest, compound growth. That's what I believe in, not the get rich quick scheme that usually fails eventually. But appreciate the comment there. Nicholas Wilson, it doesn't pull up, 1 second. Hey man, I'm new to investing. I've recently invested my first 4,000 something into the S&P 500, but I'm having doubts with this recession. I don't know, is it better to put it in savings and wait till the market hits bottom? You know, it's really a tough question to answer. And again, you know, I don't give investment advice, but I can only say what I'm doing personally. I've previously invested in dollar cost averaged every single month a certain amount, including the S&P 500, where I invested around 1,000 euros every single month. But as I said before, by the way, I have my other live guest here, Nutella. Right now, what I've done is basically stop investing, because I think, as you said as well, it will, definitely correct downwards quite a bit in the coming months. So if I now had that money sitting around, which I have, I'm not planning to plow it all in now, because I do believe it will drop further. Now, once again, in the grand scheme of things, if you zone out and look for 5-10 years, it still doesn't matter, because you still get a much better deal now than you got like 6 months ago. So it actually still is a good time. Now, yes, it might drop another 10%. The S&P 500 obviously swings much less. I mean, it's unlikely that it's going to drop 30%. So even if you wanted to just get in for the sake of getting in, it's still better than too many people. What happens is they have the same thought, okay, I'm going to wait for the market to drop, and then I'm going to get in, and they never get in because they think it's going to drop. But then guess what? It's going to start rising, and then they say, oh my God, now I missed out. It keeps on rising, and now it's too expensive. It's the peak, and in the end, they actually never get in. So even if you get in now, 5 years, 10 years from now, you're still going to make a huge return. No doubt about it. The S&P 500 is a bet on America, and I don't think in 10 years America is going to go anywhere but up. So that's just, that's just reality. So I think if you wanted to get in for the sake of getting in, great. Unless you want to, dollar cost average. Myself, what I do is right now I sit with cash on the sidelines and wait things to cool down further, and then a couple of months from now definitely will make larger investments. And Fabietz, I hope I pronounced the name correctly, Fabietz. But anyway, thanks for regularly commenting, and good question. How do you feel about Curve? Well, as I've done a couple of videos on Curve, I absolutely love Curve. It's really something I really enjoy. It was a new concept for me to have only one card that combined so many of my different cards, because I have a crypto cashback card, I have a Revolut card, I have a one-time fee card which I use for some dodgy websites online where I don't want to put my real credit card. I put it as a one-time, it expires, and I get a new card. I have my business card, so I have a lot of different cards that I use. And back in the days, I had to carry them with me. Then I had to put them into my Apple Pay. And more importantly, I always got confused about the analytics, because then I would spend with one card a certain amount and another card a certain amount. And at the end of the month, as I said, for me, budgeting and tracking expenses is very important. I had to go through and add it all up to see how much they actually spend, because it's really hard once you have 4 or 5 cards to know how much is your total outgoing. So by using Curve, it really brings it all together into one nice total. I can see what goes where. I like that going back in time feature, because recently we were on a trip with friends. I paid everything with Revolut because they all had Revolut. I did all my transactions with Revolut, and then it's very simple. With one click you can split the bills into 6 parts if you have 6 friends, and it's super easy to use. However, by doing that, I missed out on all my cashback. So what I did after the trip, all those big expenses out of Revolut, let's say I paid for a hotel, a couple of €100, by not paying with my Nexo, I didn't get the cashback. So then I could go back in time, where you basically click the transactions and you change the card in the past, which is just magical, and changed it to Nexo. I got the cashback, while having the benefit of using Revolut in the moment. So yeah, for me it's just a brilliant card. I didn't have any issues with them. Right now I'm still lucky to have the referral program. So if you refer anyone, you get, I believe they still have that, 30 days of 1% cashback on every merchant, so to say. Because if you don't have that, you would have to sign up to one of the tiers, or black or metal tier, pay a monthly fee, and then you can select either 3 or 6 merchants, and on those you will always get 1% cashback. But sometimes it's hard to predict which is your most frequent merchant. I mean, obviously for me it would be booking.com and my local grocery shop where I spend the most. But then again, if I travel abroad, I don't know who is the merchant that I'm going to be using over there. So it's nice to have that 1% on everything. But even without it, I would still use Curve. So I'm not only using it for the cashback, for the convenience, but for the convenience, for analytics, going back in time. And yeah, that's it. One thing though, I realized I paid a few bills recently abroad in a different currency, and the exchange fee on the free tier level is quite bad actually. I think it's up to €1,000. Anything over, they start charging you, I believe it's 0.5% conversion fee. And that starts really adding up into your cost, so to say. So now, actually, when I pay abroad, I will use my Nexo card, because they have, I'm the highest tier level platinum, so you don't have any foreign exchange fees. Or if my referrals end up on Curve, then I probably upgrade to the metal plan, I believe it is. And there is also no FX fee charged on that. So you can use your Curve anywhere on any currency. But yeah, I'm a big lover and definitely will continue using them. Sorry, I mispronounced the name probably, but anyway, good question. Are you still confident about Nexo? Absolutely. I have pretty much most of my funds in there. I have a few on my ledger, but the majority on my Nexo account basically, because I really like right now when the markets are going nowhere, it's depressing to look at your portfolio, but I still open the app because I see those daily staking rewards coming in. And yes, of course, you could argue if Nexo goes completely to zero, these staking rewards become useless because they will disappear. I get it, and there is a certain risk factor, but I'm willing to take the risk. I really believe in the company. They're quite transparent. They communicate a lot. I think we've been through hopefully the worst so far, and they really weathered the storm well. Did really good, nice communication. They're very leveraged. They have a lot of this. They really focus on collateral. The loan to collateral value is very high, so they have a lot of securities as a backup. So they're more financially liquid than many other crypto exchanges we've seen with Celsius and others. So nothing is ever safe. Time will tell. But yes, overall, the fact that I leave my funds over there, currently I have around close to, I believe, 40K there. So I wouldn't leave that money there if I wouldn't believe in them. Tommy K, what's your favorite crypto besides Bitcoin and Ethereum? Well, I have actually, those two are my two of the biggest ones. Then I still have Polygon because I really like. I think I get 12% staking rewards on Nexo with them. Plus, they have actually the fundamentals of Polygon is quite attractive, and I think long term they definitely have a place and they will stay around. Even though I think a lot of the top 100 coins, majority of them will disappear. It's just back in the day when there was such a bull market, everyone came up with their coins and everything was always better than Ethereum, the next Ethereum and Bitcoin killer. And I think a lot of the projects are either duplicates of each other or they're just simply scam projects. So I think already now we're seeing, with the market valuation and liquidity in the markets being drained, some of the valid projects staying in place, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc. And I think one of them will definitely continue to be Polygon. I might be wrong, but I hope that they will continue to iterate, innovate, and it's still a very much active project, plus nice staking rewards. And the fourth one, which I have, and that's Nexo, of course, because I'm part of the Nexo platform. By having Nexo token, you obviously get more benefits through the platform, like lower fees, better staking rewards, etc. So that's for me a utility token that hopefully the more people adopt and are part of the platform, the token becomes more valuable. So yeah, again, I use it because it gives me benefits. Will it be the future? I don't know, but right now it offers me a lot of benefits, and it's for me very easy in the future to basically switch the Nexo token into Bitcoin, right? And then cash out if I wanted to. But so those are my 4 biggest holdings. I'm not buying any meme coins or so on. I was never into that because once again, I don't believe into 5,000% return in a week or so. It's just not financially feasible. Eventually, what goes up must come down. So yeah, I'm more sort of the old school crypto investor, if you can say that. Right. I think I totally agree. Polygon solves problems. Yes. So hopefully we are right on there, and the money and price correction will follow in the coming months ahead. Good, guys. So I don't know if there's no other questions. I think we've been almost 40 minutes. So really thank you for watching on a Wednesday evening. I really appreciate it. So hopefully I'll be able to do more of those lives if you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more of this, and also let me know any kind of video ideas you want me to cover. I'm always excited to cover new features, new topics. So yeah, let's keep this interactive. Really enjoy hanging out with you guys. It's all about growing the community, connecting with like-minded, positive people. So yeah, let's continue doing this. Let's keep on rocking. Let's stay positive. And as always, guys, stay healthy, get wealthy, and I'll see you very soon. Take care, guys. Ciao.